Well, how y'all doing today? This is going to be an update video for Nine Knife and Blade Collection. And I'm going to start out here with this OKC, that's Ontario Knife Company SP2 Survival Knife. These are about $35 to $40 at Walmart and other outdoor stores. Don't think it's ever been issued to the military, but it's a pretty good survival knife for the money. And then next to that, I have a US M7 bayonet for the M16 rifle. This one was made by the Imperial Knife Company, and other companies also made the same knife. OKC made it and a few others. And Camillus also made them. And then next to that is the Army ASEC. It's Aircrew Survival Egress Knife. That's what it stands for. But it is a really neat and well thought out knife. It has a hammer pommel that you can break plexiglass with, rubber grip, and that's insulated. And then this is a seatbelt cutter, and then also it has a sharpening rod, and then the scabbard is flame retardant. So pretty well thought out, pretty neat. I liked it. And didn't know anything about it. Had to go do a lot of research. I'm like, what is that? And then next to it is an AKM Type 1 bayonet. That is the bayonet that the North Vietnamese most likely carried. It was designed in 1959 for the AKM rifle, which is a variant of the AK-47. And a lot of people have seen the Type 2, which a lot of people who were in Iraq have brought back. The Type 2 has a hammer pommel, and soldiers were breaking this because it's made of fiberglass resin, and the Type 2s have a hammer pommel on them. Other than that, the blades are practically identical. However, the Type 2s have a fiberglass scabbard, and this one has a metal scabbard with a rubber insulator. So pretty neat. And basically it was this bayonet on the end of an AK-47 versus that bayonet on the end of an M16 during the Vietnam War. Now, most of the time, soldiers don't put them on the end of the rifles anymore. They're utility blades, but they are bayonets. They are designed to go on the end of the rifle, but very rarely do anyone use them in combat that way. And then, although in riot situations, that can be very intimidating. So, and then next to that, I've got a Dexter 7.5-inch meat knife I use for cutting sausage and brisket, and it's just a commercial grade, really neat, really useful, really well made. Dexter has been making knives for decades, and you'll frequently find their older wooden handled ones at garage sales. And then there is another Dexter, I believe that's a 5.5 or 6-inch fillet knife, and the handle is designed to be dipped in boiling water and then dipped in cold water quickly, and then you're supposed to take your hand and grip it to make it into a custom grip. And then next to that is a J. Martini 7.5-inch fillet knife. Now, frequently people see the 6-inch version. It's just about in every tackle box in America. I didn't know they made a 7.5-inch blade, and they also make a 4-inch blade. So had to have it. So now I got them. And, they're a more flexible fillet knife, but, still neato torpedo. And then Buck makes this very economic and very simply made survival knife, and very easy to take apart, and I might put an antler handle on that. So that might be happening in the future. And then next to it is a company called Mora Knife makes this, and they're out of Sweden. And it's a bait knife, essentially. But next to it, and then also, by the way, there's another Mora knife with a 2-inch blade that is designed to go into your tackle box. And then next to this Mora knife is a $3 Walmart version, made very, very similar. The Mora knife cost about $25, and this costs $2.99. So, and then I've got case, and then this is the case. You see this design very frequently. I've got a knife like this that was my grandfather's from like the 40s. So, but this was on sale at Bass Pro Shops. And then buck, another buck still in the package. And yes, in another video, I had a packaged buck, and it was on sale again at another place for $12. So I got 2 in the package for future use. And then buck. And then this knife is a cheap Chinese-made Miller's Creek knife, but I found it on a sand dune in the middle of an island, or on an island in the middle of the San Jacinto River. And I was going looking for antlers, and I see this black thing kind of stands out, and I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's a knife. Oh, it's Christmas. So got me a knife. So who knew? And then this is a little Perry knife found in a garage sale for a couple bucks. It's about 50 years old. And then this is a U.S. Army pocket knife or utility knife. This one was made in 1991. And they made them all the way up to 2006 or 2007. And when I was in the Army, they didn't give me one of these. This cost me about $25. And pretty neato torpedo. It's made by Camillus. And then this made by Buck. This is a Dexter oyster knife. So it's not really that sharp, but it's a real thick profile for prying open oysters. And then here I've got a couple of your mini, this is they're mini pliers. This is actually not pliers, these are scissors. This is the Leatherman version, and this is the Gerber dime. And this actually folds up. This is a Craftsman fold up mini pliers. Really neat to fold up into a little bitty square. And then I've got your Swiss-made Swiss Army knife, and then another Swiss-made Swiss Army knife. And then this is, it's for a keychain, but it's got a cutting blade on it, a screwdriver, and a bottle opener. And it was at Walmart for $3, but I thought that was a really neat idea, so I had to have one. And then next to it is a $3. It's considered a gut knife, but that's not what I bought it for. I don't hunt. So this I'm going to use as a seatbelt knife in my car. So if you look at it and you say, why don't you just put that ASEC in there? And I might do that too, but that's a seatbelt knife essentially, and it'll function real well for that. So, and plus, you know, if somebody breaks in my car and takes that, I don't cry. They take that ASEC knife, it's going to cost you over $100, well over $100 to replace. So anyway, and then also got Buck. This is case, and then I'm going to take you over. These are U.S. military, World War II predominantly, but U.S. military mess knives. Now they've got an edge on them, and I think that's because GIs typically would hone them and use them as utility knives, essentially. This one was made in 1943, and then 1952, 1953, not dated. And this is a whole set, U.S. issue mess kit, out of a U.S. issue mess kit. And then this is a whole set that was made for the German Army and stated 1968, the Bundeswehr. And it's just really neat. It's kind of hard to take apart, but just really cool. A lot easier not to lose than those. And then this was a version I got for $5 at a sporting goods store. And then I've got a whole bunch of scissors. Yes, scissors. But I had a whole bunch of first aid kits. And I was like, I did some research, and it was really kind of interesting. This is a suture pair that was made in Israel, believe it or not. Suture scissors, and that's to cut stitches essentially. And then this is bandage scissors, heavy duty. And these are also bandage scissors right here, what you would commonly call EMT scissors. These EMT scissors. And then these are actually for fishing line. These are for sewing scissors, is what I know them as. These are safety scissors you can buy at Walmart. They're Fiskars. And then these are supposed to be for cutting hair or trimming your mustache, essentially. And then these were made by Gerber, and they came with my Gator knife that I have since ground down to almost nothing. And then these are utility shears, and then utility scissors, and then these are surgical scissors. And then more utility scissors. So there is the update to my knife and blade collection. And most of the knives that I have are made in USA with a few exceptions. And occasionally I will buy knives that are made in Europe. And, I do avoid knives made in China. And that's because a lot of the knives coming out of China are cheap. Cheap materials, cheap workmanship. But I will like knives made in Japan, pretty high end. Knives made in Taiwan, pretty high end. So one day China will get their manufacturing processes up, and maybe I'll start collecting those too. Other than that, there is the update to my knife and blade collection, and I hope y'all enjoyed that. And I'll go hit some garage sales and try to find some more. So y'all have a fine day, and I will talk to you later. Have a fine one now.